When we were younger, retirement conversations were all about money, like how much to save, when to retire. But as we get closer to that stage of life, we realize something, that conversations actually start to change.
Oh, we start asking ourselves,
Yeah.
what if like our health changes, diba?
Yun.
Or what if like we live longer than expected?
Isa pa yun.
Or even, what if something happens to one of us? So Haven and I thought that we'd talk about something that people always think about, pero they never talk about it in the open. And these are retirement fears that people carry quietly. And alam niyo ba, what's interesting is, when we started talking about this, nalaman namin na hindi lang pala iis ang fear. Ang dami palang
Multiple,
mga fears ang mga tao, before, retiring.
Yeah. But some are practical, but the others, maybe you can call it emotional. But that's the reality of getting older.
I know.
Diba? Alam nyo, ang first concern ng mga tao is money. Even if you've saved, you ask yourself, is it enough to last you maybe 20 to 30 years? With unexpected costs, yung mga inflation? This conversation becomes more real.
And it's not only about survival, it's also about independence. Kasi syempre, you don't want to burden your children, di ba?
Yeah.
And that shapes the way you spend and plan.
Yeah.
Ano naisip ko, ganun ng parents ko. Parang, they have enough already. Pero para sa kanila, talagang ipon pa rin sila ng ipon at this age,
no?
di ba? Oo. I don't know if they feel na it's not enough, pero ganun pa rin sila eh. Gusto nila yung meron silang, I guess, nakikitang pera na they don't rely on us. And they always tell us that, na ayaw nilang na ma-burden kami sa kung ano mang may mangyari sa kanila. And next naman is about health and independence. And I know that this is very, very important for people, especially now when you get older.
Yeah.
We actually see this one sa parents ko. My dad is turning 90 this year and my mom is turning 85. And alam ko na they really value their independence.
Yeah.
Diba? Na alam nila na they're still capable to do things on their own.
Right.
Especially my dad.
Yeah. Even small things matter to them, di ba? Kunento mo nga sa akin when yung helper nila nagbakasyon. Syempre, they didn't want yung anak nila na ma-burden, so sila naggumawa ng laundry, naglinis ng bahay.
Talaga.
Matatanda na. It's really 89, 90,
90 and
85,
then 85. And my sister lives really close sa kanila.
Yeah.
And talagang, kasi kami kahit na nandito kami sa America, I still have another sister here na talagang chine-check namin sila, how they're doing. Pero talagang sa kanila, they wanna do it themselves.
Nakita niyo sa camera?
Sa camera.
Huli.
Meron kaming para reality TV show.
Yeah.
Merong camera sa house, nakikita namin na kung anong ginagawa. Of course, as a family, we try to make it much easier for them.
Yeah.
And more comfortable, di ba?
Yes.
Yung kapatid ko nga ang lapit-lapit ng bahay, like it's ang tawag
Stone's throw.
Stone's throw?
Away. Yeah.
Away. Ayaw pa rin nilang, tawagin siya when they need something.
I know.
Talagang gusto nila silang gagawa. And, I guess, parang feeling mo na, you're capable of doing things on your own. Minsan napapagalitan din kami na kumbaga parang bakit parati naming sinasabihan sila na not to do this, not to do that, diba? Pero as children, diba?
Yeah.
Ang concern lang namin is their well-being.
Yes.
Yeah.
And safety.
And
syempre.
safety, right. Kaya pag nakita namin na they still can do things on their own, now we're really grateful na healthy and malakas pa. And at the same time, we try to remind them na it's okay to ask for help.
Yeah.
Diba? I think it's just trying to find that balance, yung allowing them to be independent while making sure
that they're safe and supported.
Right. Alam nyo, losing independence is something many people fear more than money. Kaya minsan hindi natin masisisi. Being able to handle life on your own is a part of living with dignity. So watching our parents now, napapaisip din kami. One day that could be us too. And that's something that crosses our mind as we get closer to that stage of life.
So isa pang fear many parents worry about is to be a burden to their children. Kasi as parents, even though you've given them everything that they need,
Yung mga anak mo?
Yeah. Syempre, you don't want their lives to be changed just because of you.
Kaya nga talaga napaka-importante na you plan ahead. Kaya nga yung maintaining yung financial and practical independence will help both,
You and your family.
you and your family.
Yeah.
Oo. Ito, kwento ko. Ito yung sa family ko ulit. My dad underwent surgery. And syempre, ang laki ng gastos nun. Diba?
Yeah.
Sa Philippines, kasi especially wala namang silang insurance. So, it had to come out of their pocket. And yung nagastos doon, siyang gumastos. Eh, parati nasasabi sa amin na, buti na lang nakaipon kami. Buti na lang may ipon kaming pera.
But you know what? Sa akin talagang, he is very true to his statement. Totoo yun. No? Huwag ka na umiyak.
So yun, that's a very, very good example of like planning ahead.
Yes.
Diba? Siyempre, kahit na, kunyari sabihin natin walang ipon or walang pera ang parents ko, andito naman kami magkakapatid eh.
At least, may support. No?
Oo.
Yun ang maganda eh.
Ito naman, yung next fear is losing the sense of purpose.
Yun.
Diba? Kasi you're not working anymore eh.
Right.
Diba? Pag nagtatrabaho ka, alam mo na yung ginagawa mo has a purpose, diba?
May routine na.
May routine ka na. So, pag nag-work ka, like, let's say you were working sa office, diba? Alam mo yung ginagawa mo, merong kalalabasan, diba?
Yeah.
It helps the company, diba? Pero pag nag-retire ka na, siguro sa umpisa ang sarap, diba?
Siyempre.
Oo, diba? O, travel ka, good life, ganyan. Pero at a certain point, siguro there will come a time na parang
Actually, I am starting to feel that way.
Huh?
As retirement approaches, nafe-fear ko yun na parang, yung talagang, kasi very structured ako eh. Everything na kailangan talagang ganyan-ganyan. Can you imagine?
Ngayon ko lang narinig.
Hindi nga,
Ngayon ko lang narinig sa'yo.
No. And now that malapit na, talagang may fear talaga ako, which is true.
Kasi after when you go into retirement, ang nasa isip ko na gagawin natin, masaya na ako, manonood na ako ng mga K-drama ko, ikaw, manonood ka ng mga YouTube mo. Actually, pinlano namin to. Actually, plano mo, plano ko.
Natin. Agree ako eh.
Agree ka nga, sige. Yung YouTube na to, we started like a year ago. So sabi lang namin ni Haven na, try natin mag-YouTube, tingnan natin if it, mag-click or not. So yun, I mean, we're here now.
Yeah.
And naisip namin na maybe this is something na
Right.
we could do na ang feeling namin na it has a purpose, di ba? So we're here to what? To share our journey.
Did we regret it? Of course not. In retirement, once we retire, we'll continue vlogging as retired na. So isa pang fear na about retirement is loneliness. Siyempre, yung sanay ka na sa work na meron kang social interaction sa mga co-workers mo. But there'll come a time na baka yung friends mo wala ng oras. Busy na rin sila. Yun.
So kailangan meron kang mga kachokaran.
Yeah.
na same siguro yung mga retired din, gano'n.
Little circle of friends. Let's say yung mga
ang hirap kasi sa amin, ang friends namin are mostly in the Philippines.
Yeah.
And we've been friends like for 40 plus years.
40 plus, yeah.
Can you imagine? Since college days. And up to now, talagang pag umuwi kami, nagkikita kami, and we have like a group chat.
Yun.
So, alam namin kung anong nangyayari pa rin.
We still stay connected. Yun ang maganda dun eh.
Meron naman kami mga friends andito rin sa US, pero they're medyo kalat-kalat. Meron sa Bay Area, merong nasa East Coast, merong
Yeah.
nasa Canada. So those are our real friends. Di ba nga, malayo nga, nasa Pilipinas, nasa North America.
So, social interactions become very, very crucial.
Oo. Kaya dapat you have to build it intentionally.
Yes.
By, yun nga,
Joining
mga
clubs,
yung
yung
mga
mga- yeah.
senior groups.
Yeah.
And hindi man kasi pwedeng kaming dalawa lang na nasa bahay, di ba? Maloloka siguro.
Sigurado. Makita to every day.
Oo, makikita rin kita everyday. Siguro ito yung deepest fear that a lot of people have, that they have in their minds, but they don't really talk about it in the open. Kasi tayo rin, hindi rin natin...
Yeah. Now, try to guess what it is.
Kasi after decades of being together, imagine life being alone is like very, very difficult.
Right. So, di ba, ang mom's side nyo, usually mahabang buhay, di ba? So, baka mauna pa ako sa'yo.
Oo nga, kasi yung side ko talaga, like
Yeah,
my
haba ng
grandma,
buhay.
almost 100 years old.
Almost, yeah.
Yung mga immediately yung mga relatives nasa 90s,
Lakas.
talagang basta mahaba yung buhay
Malakas,
namin.
yeah.
So baka medyo mahaba-haba yung
Probability maybe is,
Ano bang mommy at daddy? Minsan pinag-uusapan nila to eh. Minsan tinatanong ng dad ko sa mom ko, o pag nauna ako, alam mo bang gawin to?
But you know what? That question is actually serious. I mean, that's
Yeah.
true. Kasi you need to know what your partner does. Let's say, preparing documents, yung mga, yung mga passwords nyo, lahat yan. Alam mo kung paano. In case one, syempre, let's say, goes, alam mo na kung ano.
Kasi kunyari ngayon, di ba? We know everything
Yeah.
that we do or ganyan. Pero you do, yung in detail, you do one thing, ako naman I do another thing.
Right.
So, pero kailangan, ngayon, dapat pareho niyong alam din. Yun nga,
Yes.
sabi mo nga, passwords, dapat alam niyo lahat yung account numbers niyo. Kasi nga, being prepared with, everything, yung finances, documents, it gives you peace of mind. Na, kunyari, in case one goes earlier, na kung sino man may iwan, hindi siya,
Alam niya kung
hindi siya
paano.
mababurden
Exactly.
or that person can go on
Right.
with his or her life.
Yep.
Diba?
The truth is, we can't predict for the future. But talking to our partners creates a sense of security and, syempre, understanding.
You know what? Facing these uncertainties doesn't mean that we're pessimistic. So talking about these fears makes us honest, not weak.
Yes.
It reminds us na mag-focus tayo dun sa mga importante. Tulad ng, time with each other, shared experiences, and especially peace of mind.
So we'd love to hear from you. Are there any concerns or questions about your retirement that you haven't really discussed with your wife or your partner?
Oh, katulad yung kanina, yung hindi yung sinasabi sa akin, meron ka pala.
Yung pala, meron.
Baka meron din kayong mga ibang fears dyan na nasa isip nyo lang, di ba?
Yeah.
Na hindi nyo nasasabi sa partner nyo or you haven't even mentioned to anyone.
Right.
Diba? Thank you for watching this video and we hope that you got something out of this conversation. Share your thoughts in the comment section below and we hope to see you in our next vlog.
Bye.
Pero they never talk about it in the open. Mochi, come here!
All the
ba?
things I did. But anong part yun?
Ano ba? Nakakainis.